From our 22 News Broadcast Center, this is 22 News in Focus.
Good Sunday afternoon. Welcome to 22 News in Focus. I'm Ashley Afonso. Every January 1st, millions of Americans make resolutions, most of which focus on bettering their lives. According to data compiled by the Statistic Brain Institute, the top resolutions include everything from losing weight and quitting smoking to making better financial decisions and spending more quality time with family and friends. That same study also found that in 2017, approximately of all Americans that made New Year's resolutions, only 8% actually achieved them. So why do so many fail to follow through on their personal goals? And what is the secret to success? Joining me today to talk about setting up and achieving your resolutions, whether on January 1st or any time of the year, is Gina DeStefano-Fernandez, a personal coach and business coach and owner of GDF Coaching, LLC. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So first of all, let's talk about New Year's resolutions. Why do people even make them?
I think for a lot of reasons, but I think mainly it's because people want to better their lives. They want to be happier, they want to be more fulfilled, they want to feel more in control. So what better thing to do than to make a resolution?
And what's some of the psychology behind goal setting?
Well, the psychology behind it. Not to dig too deep into Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but basically similar to why they do it. It's just people really want to do better. They want to feel more fulfilled, more in control, more empowered with their lives. So that's why they initiate change.
Do you see this on the business level as well? Every new year there's new goals for businesses, not just personal goals?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I always say in life there are no two separate buckets. You don't have a personal life and a professional life. The two literally go hand in hand. So if things are not going smoothly in your personal life, it's going to trickle over to your professional life. And the same with your professional life. You can't separate the two. People want to fool themselves into believing that they can. So absolutely, people will say they're going to make a business resolution or personal, but really the two are very, very similar.
Okay, so we just talked about how there's many Americans who do not follow through with these resolutions. What are they doing to set themselves up for failure, and what can they do to not?
What I think, in my personal opinion, of how they're setting themselves up for failure is they're not really clear on what it's going to take to really see them through. We all have, you know, these ideas of grandiose of how we want things to play out. When they don't go according to that plan, we tend to give up. But I think the initial way we set ourselves up for failure is we're not 100% clear on what that's going to look like and how much work it actually is, because it is work.
Okay, and let's talk about that. What kind of planning goes into actually following through with some of these goals?
Planning. So I actually teach and coach a system that I follow myself. There's 4 steps to it. So whenever anyone comes to me and they want to make a change or set a goal, or I like to call them intentions. I think sometimes using the word goal is a very aggressive term, so I like people to set intentions to better their lives or themselves personally, professionally. So the first step is awareness. This is the key factor to it. We sometimes are not really keenly aware of why we want to make the change, what the motivation is behind it. And if we are not laser focused on that, nothing is going to fall into place. The second piece after we've become aware is become very selective with who you're surrounding yourself with in order to execute this. And people want to skip that step, or they don't pay as much attention to it as is needed. And I call it your team, getting your team ready. Who needs to be benched? Who needs to go? Who needs to be recruited onto the team? Who needs less playing time? Because if your resolution is, let's say, you know, to lose weight or quit smoking, get a better job, get out of a relationship. If you're surrounding yourself with smokers and people who are overweight and people who are broke or in bad marriages, you're not really aligning those changes in behavior that you want with the right people. So that's step number 2, is to really take a look at your circle, get very selective with who you're associating with, and then therefore you can start to really see a difference in how you're acting. The third step is to start to talk about it. After we've become aware, we are surrounding ourselves with the right people, we need to talk. And I say this all the time, there's a huge difference between the conversation you have in your head and all the rationalizations you can make and saying it out loud to other people, because at that point you're really holding yourself accountable and it's out there and it's real. So we have to start to talk about it. And then by the time the 4th step comes, which is the execution piece, and this is my favorite part, is everything starts to fall into place with it, and it kind of starts to happen organically. And people are always so shocked where they'll say, things just started to click, they just started to click. No, because you put the work in, and there's a lot of work involved to follow through to really make change in your life.
Is that one of the things you would say people don't realize so much when they're going into it, is how much they have to work at this?
Absolutely, and I'm guilty of it myself, and as a coach I really have to walk the walk and do the behaviors myself. And yes, absolutely, we set ourselves up and we want to have all these great things happen, but it's challenging, and it's hard, and it's, what's the phrase that I always hear, it's simple but it's not easy. The simple part is making the decision, I want to do it. The hard part is piecing everything together and actually acting it out and doing some serious behavioral changes. And that changes your whole entire life. If you want to do something like change a career or quit smoking or get out of a relationship, it's not just deciding you want to do it. It's knowing that there's going to be so many moving parts. It's not going to go according to plan. Things are going to change constantly. And if you're really committed to the change, you're going to see it through.
Do you see people want to make these changes all year round, or is there more people at the beginning of each new year?
I think it depends on the personality, absolutely. I think at times of birthdays, anniversaries, first of the year, there's always that magical time, but the truth is there's never going to be a right time. Right now is the right time to do it. There's never going to be a time in your life where you're motivated to do something you don't want to do. That's the hard truth. I am a huge fan of Mel Robbins, and I adore one of her TED Talks where she talks about you're never going to feel like doing something you don't want to do. And it's so true. There's never going to be that one moment of motivation where you're just going to all of a sudden feel like it. And that's what we set ourselves up for sometimes. We say, January 1st is going to be the day. My 40th birthday is going to be the day where I'm going to change everything. No, because you're not going to wake up at 40 and then all of a sudden feel like not smoking anymore, or losing 40 pounds, or getting out of a relationship. It's got to be in that moment, and then committing to the discipline it's going to take to changing your life.
All right. Do you have what it takes to stay focused on your goals? We'll have some ideas for keeping on track after the break. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Welcome back to 22 News in Focus. Today we're talking about setting and keeping your New Year's resolution goals. Now let's talk about what you need to do to set yourself up for success. Let's say something happens, you fall off the wagon with your goal, and you're not where you want to be with it. How do you keep going and reach success?
You just have to change the course, the path. You have to be realistic with your expectations of what achieving that goal is going to look like. And that's another huge opportunity people have when they set goals, is they have in their mind exactly the way they think they're going to play out. It doesn't go as planned, they give up. Where a whole part of changing your life and changing things is to realize it's not going to go exactly the way you think it should. And you have to be prepared for that. You have to anticipate that, and you have to be able to roll with that. And that's the same in business too. Like I said, I always like to use the word intention. It's a less aggressive term, and I think it sets your mind to be more flexible than being so goal-oriented. And if things don't go, and then you feel like you're totally off course, and then you just stop. So it's really important to set that intention, understand that it's not going to go according to plan. You have to allow the process to just unravel, and then whatever obstacle comes at you, be prepared to handle that.
Do you see some people go into this giving some effort but not their all? Maybe like 50% of the way?
Yes, and I really hate to make judgments. That's one of my opportunities I work on, but I think I've become a very good judge of character. I've been running my own business for almost 7 years now, and I've worked with all different types of people, industries, companies, small, large, and you can kind of tell early on those that are really in it and who get it, and those that are just dipping their toe. And things can change, people can change, but when you're really ready to do something, you're going to do it. And that's typically when I'm called, is when somebody is really invested in making that change. They're paying somebody money to do that because they really want to change their lives, to improve their businesses, their personal lives. So by the time my phone rings, they're pretty much willing to do whatever it takes.
Now, it obviously depends on the goal or the intention, how long something takes, but how long does it really take to make a change in your life?
You can make a change immediately by just changing your mind. So that change is instantaneous. All the other things are going to take time. Everything takes time because depending on the goal, the intention, the resolution, whatever it is, it's a huge investment in, like I said, when I go back to the system I teach, first of all, the awareness. If you are setting an intention or a goal based on other people's expectations of you or societal norms or to fit in, chances are you're not going to follow through that because it's not your personal motivation. We have to find that. The second step that people want to really not pay attention to, where all the work is taking a look at who you're associating with. You are, what is that saying, the top 5 people that you associate with? And if that's not working for you and you have to remove some of those people from your life, that's a lot of work and it doesn't happen overnight. And I always say that too. I've done a lot of work internally with companies that want to improve results. So the first thing new managers do when they come in is they'll just clean house. And I always say, you can't do that overnight. You have to be more strategic in who you're going to terminate, who you're going to hire. It's the same personally. We can't just cut mom out overnight. We can't just remove people that have been in our lives for 30 years. We have to really evaluate, be more mindful of what we're doing, but we absolutely do have to remove some people or bring in other people. And that's another kind of overwhelming task too, of if you're, let's say you're looking to lose weight and you're in that comfort circle of people who are just like you. It's going to be hard to branch out and start talking to those personal trainers or the gym buffs because you don't feel like you fit in. If you're at a certain socioeconomic status and you're comfortable with that group of people, it might be challenging to go talk to the wealthy people who belong to the country club because you feel like you don't fit in. But the truth is, you're never going to fit in until you challenge yourself on that and you talk to that, because if not, you're going to remain overweight, you're going to remain broke, you're going to remain in bad relationships. If you're hanging out with people that don't know how to have solid relationships and communicate well, you're not going to pick up on those behaviors and you're not going to get good advice that you should be taking. Instead, you're going to be getting comfortable advice. You're going to be, you know, what is that? Comfortably miserable, which I use that term and I aim to get people out of.
Okay, do you recommend discussing your goal with people you are closest with too, or your intention, or kind of keep it to yourself?
I think with the type of coaching I do, every person is so different. There is no one size fits all to how someone's going to achieve a goal. Some people have achieved goals, lost 100 pounds, nobody even knew they were on a diet, and it just, you know, oh, I'm just doing something. Other people, yes, in order for them to hold themselves accountable, they need to talk about it. They need to blog about it. They post it all over social media. So it all depends. Like I said, it's getting to know the person, going through the system, finding the awareness why you're looking to do that, getting the right people in your circle, talking to the people. It's all your comfort level and what you want to do. And as a coach, I simply guide you through it and hold you accountable.
How do you track progress?
That's a good question, because oftentimes when I'm doing consultations with people, they want a play-by-play. With what I do, sometimes it's very easy. It's just a shift in a feeling. It's not something that can be very precisely monitored, but you know. And I know. That's another thing, too. I know when I'm working with a client that they're moving and they're progressing. I can see it in them. It's a feeling. It's just a shift in their confidence, how they carry themselves, how they speak. Everything starts to change when they know they're getting closer to the person that they want to be.
How much do you stress patience in this whole process as well?
Seeing as how patience is one of my biggest lessons in this lifetime, because like I always say, I practice what I preach. I'm the type of person who wants results yesterday. I absolutely have to encourage my clients and myself that nothing is going to just be instantaneous. It's a process, and you are going to see it as long as you're taking those little baby steps. You're going to start to see change, and you're going to start to feel it. And then one day you truly do wake up somewhat of a different person because you just keep doing the new behaviors over and over and over again. So patience is absolutely key.
Okay, great. When should you consider professional help with achieving your goals? We'll discuss resources when we return. You're watching 22 News in Focus. You're watching 22 News in Focus. Today we're talking about how to keep your New Year's resolutions. Some goals, especially those around health and money management, may require the help of a professional. So Gina, as a professional life coach, why do people come to you? Why do they seek help?
People come to me, like I said, when they are really ready to initiate some change. And I love to be an agent of change for those individuals. I believe that one of my greatest assets and the reason why people come to me personally through referrals is that I do create an environment where people feel safe to be vulnerable and honest, because I am. I've always said this too. You have to be vulnerable. Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean I'm better than anyone, doesn't mean I'm not facing the same struggles. I mean, fear is fear, anxiety is anxiety, insecurity is insecurity, and I often say to my clients, we all have the same stuff, it's just packaged differently. And people really believe that, therefore they're willing to share with me and open more about what their true struggles are, because I can really empathize and sympathize and help them through it. And I don't sit there like I'm better than anyone, or that I have it all together all the time, or anything like that. So that's why people seek me out personally, I believe.
How does someone know that they're ready to get help to achieve their goals?
I think people know they're ready because whatever they've been doing isn't working. And you have to take a hard look at yourself and say, well, I've been struggling in this job, in this relationship, with this weight, with this addiction, whatever it is, for so long, and I've tried everything and it's not working, and I need to do something different.
Why do we as people need someone else to help us? Why can't we just figure it out on our own?
I wish that we would all be perfect, and because you need that neutral voice. And even if you do have a really strong support system, I've often said this, you can have the best partner or spouse or kids or friends or family, but the truth is they're not that external voice. They're going based on who they know you, who they've always known you to be. And so when somebody comes in with a clear set of eyes, they can identify things and maybe just say something different to you in a different way that's been said over and over, you're going to finally listen. So
let's talk about the range of things that people come to you for. I mean, some of them might seem a little bit smaller, and then you're also working with big businesses.
Okay, the range. I think there's kind of always that universal. It's just something's not right. They feel stuck. They don't feel like they are where they want to be. And like I said, sometimes people come in, they're keenly aware. They know exactly what the problem is that they want to attack. And other times, they do just feel like they're walking around in a cloud. And I just don't understand why I'm not where I want to be. And I think I'm doing everything right. And I've hired the right people, or I've worked with the right people, or I've tried this, or I've tried that. And things just aren't working.
Okay, what are some of the resources that can help people achieve their goals?
What I love, and you know, I have a love-hate relationship with social media like I think everybody does, but your resources are literally at your fingertips all the time. You have Facebook where you can ask for recommendations, you can reach out, you can Google anything you want, and a million things will pop up to you. So your resources are right there at your fingertips at any time, and depending on how you want to utilize that, it's personal, it's up to you.
Okay, we have people watching at home today, maybe thinking to themselves something in the back of their head they've been thinking about doing for a while, some change they've been thinking about making. What would you say to them?
I would say try to focus on the why, the motivation of how you think that little small thing could really implode and change a whole bunch of things. It's probably something that's been plaguing you for a while. So act on it, do something. That's, like I said, it's the first thing, is making a decision to initiate some kind of change in your life. And then the second part, the challenging part, is having the discipline to follow through on that, to actually pick up the phone, to reach out, to ask questions, and to get the right person that can guide you through that.
Is there such a thing as a goal that's too small or too big?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are the captain of your own ship. You can decide what you want to do, where you want to start. You can gain control of your life at any time.
Is that something that people really come to you for, too? They kind of feel like life is just happening and they're not in control of it?
Yes, and that's something that I'm so passionate about with what I do, is I want to get people to truly believe that life is for you and not against you, because life is hard. And I think people spend so much of their energy trying to make it look effortless, and it's not. It's not for you, it's not for me, it's not for anyone. So take some of that energy to improve it and not try to make it like you're not in the trenches like everybody else. We all have the same struggles. So put your energy there to being open and honest about it and vulnerable with it, versus trying to make it seem like it's just a walk in the park every day, because it's not.
And small changes all kind of in a row, or one big change at once? Does it matter how you go about it?
It's very personal. It's like I said, it's just not a one-size-fits-all. You know, as long as you're in the water, It doesn't matter if you're flailing there or if you're on the brink of drowning, you're in the water. Some people don't even get in the water. So if you're in the water, no matter what you're doing, you got in the water.
Okay, so anyone that sees January 1st has already come and gone. They've already maybe failed at keeping their resolution. Now is the time.
Yeah, and you didn't fail. We just need to modify. We need to tweak, because whatever we started off wasn't working. That's okay. That's a good thing. If you are intent on the change and you are committed, we'll figure it out. I always say that too. Everything is figure-outable. There's a solution to everything. It's just, are you willing to talk to the right people, be honest about it, be vulnerable with, hey, I made this commitment and it's not working out and I need to shift something. Something needs to change. Or are you just going to bow down silently and pretend like it never happened? I say, open your mouth, talk about it, ask the right people, and the resources where, you said before, what resources do you reach out for? The more you talk about it, they'll just come to you. They will just come to you.
How does someone go about finding a life coach and making sure it's the right fit for their life?
Asking for referrals about people. Go and see, that's the funny thing too. It's kind of one of these professions that's really up and coming. Lots of people have business and personal coaches now. It's a really thriving industry, which I'm so excited to be a part of. I've been in it for many years now, but it's really starting to get some momentum behind it. So talk about it, and you'll be surprised at how many people are utilizing coaches.
Okay, thank you. We'll have the last word after the break. You're watching 22 News in Focus. You're watching 22 News in Focus. We've been talking about setting goals and strategies to help you follow through on your New Year's resolutions. That's our program for today. We want to thank Gina DeStefano-Fernandez for joining us, and thank you at home for watching. If you missed any of it, you can find it in full on our website, wwlp.com. From all of us here at 22 News, we wish you a wonderful Sunday.